morning. I am a family medicine physician assistant who worked in a federally qualified health center in Houston, Texas, and I cured a patient of hepatitis C. I know you usually don't hear about a PA curing a disease because that's usually left to the doctors and the specialists. And I never would have thought that working in a community clinic would have even led me down this path. I would joke and tell my family and friends and say that community medicine has this love-hate relationship with me. But I can honestly say today that I have absolutely thrived on the opportunities and even those challenges that have been presented to me. As with most of my classmates after grad school, the plan was to make my mark on the prestigious Texas Medical Center. With the attractive pay, flexible schedule, name recognition, location, working in a community clinic was not even on my radar. But as a new grad, I wanted to see, do, and learn everything. So instead, my career as a PA began in the very communities in which I was raised in, and that actually embraced my parents as immigrants to a new country. I think I was attracted to the fast pace, the patient population, and honestly, the opportunity to have someone else pay off my school loans for working in a healthcare shortage area. Well, clearly I asked for it because I was literally doing everything. Is anyone in the room familiar with the FQHC life? The load can be overwhelming with daily productivity quotas, encounters, patients aged 2 weeks to geriatrics. I feel like you experienced the full scope of medicine, the best learning environment for any new grad. Wait, you don't believe me? Week 1, family medicine, women's health, well-child exams, prenatal care up to 28 weeks, acute issues like upper respiratory infections and UTIs, and chronic issues like one of my most memorable patients who presented with weight, elevated blood pressure, uncontrolled blood sugar. He had been having intermittent chest pain for the past week, and all he's worried about is cough medicine for his cold. And this is all usually managed by a solo provider at times. And when you mix these appointments and these random walk-ins, trust me, your day can be even more enlightening. But what truly distinguishes FQHCs from most private medical practices is the fact that we cannot turn away, refuse care to any patient based on the inability to pay. So therefore, most of my patients were either uninsured or underinsured, which made managing some of their chronic issues more difficult. So when I was approached with the opportunity and the responsibility to further expand our primary care model to now include HIV management and Hep C treatment, I said what any loyal team member in a highly stressful environment would have said under the circumstances. No. No way. Because apparently this program had been approached, ignored, and avoided several times by our clinic administrators and even my medical director. So why in the world would I be that one to say yes? The more tenured staff had already said no. HIV and Hep C were not primary care issues, they said. This is a community clinic with limited funding, they said. We have way too many things to fix. I agreed. There's a lot of things going on. But you all know I didn't have a choice. So what do you do besides pray when you're put in a situation like this one? I called my mom. Mommy, they're really trying to get me to quit today because I called my mom because she's a PA too. So she would clearly understand my dilemma. Huh? Clearly not. I feel like I was in a Nike commercial. Just do it. Just do whatever they tell you to do. So there enters Mr. John Rocks. Self-employed husband, no medical insurance, and a recently discovered diagnosis of hepatitis C. Mr. Rocks discovered he had hepatitis C not from a past drug history or a tattoo he received when he was younger. He thinks he got it from a contaminated blood transfusion after a severe motorcycle accident in the 1980s. And even then, Mr. Rocks had no idea about this virus running rampant in his bloodstream until almost 3 decades later, in 2012, after being managed and treated for high blood pressure. So clearly after this diagnosis, he felt like he had nowhere to turn. I remember him telling us about the depression he felt and the fact that he felt like a ticking time bomb. This is what he told us. I found out it will kill you. They called it the silent killer. I thought I was up a creek without a paddle, no money, no insurance. I just turned 50 and to find out that I had this disease. Well, after reading all this dire information on the internet, Mr. Rocks got up and went to his local clinic. Don't forget, he still didn't have insurance. And the clinic really was not equipped to manage this virus. So he was then referred to me as the referral specialist for a further evaluation. And with his blessing, his case proceeded like any other to the new St. Luke's Baylor telehealth program, Project ECHO. If my thoughts could have had its own sitcom, its own reality show, I was scared. I was anxious. These people were going to have me get on this computer screen and look like a fool. But this team right here, this is Project ECHO Houston. They helped me and guided me through this process. Dr. Norman Sussman, Dr. Sarah Caudry, and Lizette Escamilla. If you're in this building, I need you to stand up and be recognized. Stand up. And so with my guidance, Mr. Rocks began 12 weeks of treatment in the early fall of 2014, and his virus has since been eradicated. It's gone. He was cured. If you read stories about this Project ECHO, Mr. Rocks is quoted as saying, "Amen for ECHO," because he says it's a blessing. He said one year he thought he was going to die, and the next year he was cured of a disease. This program is doing so well, it was featured in the media. Mr. Rocks was the very first patient cured in our Project ECHO, and I was able to be a part of it. I had front row seat VIP tickets. This is one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Sussman, who is the medical director, because this sums it up. This has literally changed my life and my career path. Providers like Madu are essential to making the system work. Our goal is if we see Mr. Rocks, we manage one patient. If we educate Renita Madu, she can see 20 patients. We are training an army of people. It's a force multiplier. This is Project ECHO. ECHO is great. We know this because it helps us deliver care to patients in underserved areas, but it empowers providers like me, like us, giving us the confidence and the knowledge to help patients we serve in ways we never thought possible. So what are the benefits if you haven't figured this out already? Well, I picked up a couple of personal things here and there. One, I have specialists on speed dial. I can contact one person, Lizette Escamilla, the Project ECHO coordinator, and I was involved in nearly every ECHO we provided. So I can call the cardiologist, the infectious disease specialist, the hepatologist, the psychiatrist. They knew my name. They spoke to me one-on-one as a colleague. Trade secret, I bet you didn't know that patients don't always go where you refer them to. So I don't have to worry about them getting lost to care. They didn't have to navigate our medical center, 5 different providers unless it was absolutely necessary. They already knew us. Their medical home, patient-centered medical home. They knew my staff, they knew me. We already treated their children for their well-child exam, their parents for their high blood pressure refills. They stayed home. I'm ashamed to say that I was not too fond about this program in the beginning, but I'm actually pretty good at it. I was able to develop a running protocol, train new staff and my employees. My students, yes, I had students doing their family medicine rotation with me at the time. They have since graduated and now see HIV and Hep C as manageable within the primary care model. I have grown so much from this experience, and I'm not even looking back. I've been invited to speak at conferences like this, and I have talked to the counselors. I've started my application. I'm going to get my PhD in public health. I want to be an expert. I want to teach. I want to be able to develop protocols, implement these policies in communities like ours. With ECHO, I'm pretty hooked, but we still have a job to do. My family is from a small village in Nigeria, West Africa, where there's no health care, and the only decent health care is several hours away. They are dying and suffering from common conditions that could easily be managed by a trained professional. And so if ECHO could come in and train the local village doctor and nurse the same way they did me, then I'm sold. Thank you.